Welcome back to the channel, all you beautiful people. Today I got my Pelican Catch 130 high drive. I'm going to do a fish finder install. I want to showcase two different ways. I have the transducer mounted underneath the kayak with this plug for the Humminbird Helix 5, and this is the transducer plug, which is 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and it fits through the scupper holes on the Pelican. Now, I'm not going to guarantee this works for everybody's Pelicans, because I have seen some in some comments and things like that where the scupper holes are really small and filled in. I got lucky on my Pelican, and I'll show you here. On this scupper hole, I know the holes are filled in, but this plug slips right through for the transducer, so you can actually mount this underneath the kayak and bring it up through a scupper hole, and it works well enough for me. Now, my solution to that is, this is a foam golf ball, and you can see the zip tie, and if you come underneath, there's my transducer, and all I did was run a zip tie through where the bolt would go, and I stuck another foam golf ball underneath of here. And I mean, there's a little bit of play. I could get my zip tie a little tighter, but this is about to come off so that I can do the actual transducer mount too. I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to run the transducer mount, but just a zip tie through there with the golf ball stuck in there for stability. And then you can see here, stick the zip tie up through, encase the other golf ball, and cinch it down tight. And then the rest of it will be up here at the mount. So the supplies I bought: the Scotty Transducer mount, and it actually comes with Scotty track, which is a bonus, and the screws to install the Scotty track. There's a bunch on this kayak already. I will be putting that on somewhere, I just don't know where. I bought a power cable for my Humminbird Helix 5. Now, this fish finder is off my big boat, and the purpose of this was to have one screen that I could transfer between my kayak and the big boat. So I was able to just purchase another transducer, a power cable, and the Humminbird bracket, because I already have the actual unit itself. Now, in the description link, I'll put these items, plus I'll put the full Humminbird Helix 5. And if you purchase the whole Humminbird Helix 5, it's going to come with the power cord, it's going to come with the transducer, it's going to come with the bracket, and the only additional stuff you'll need is the Scotty Mount and the Scotty Universal Fish Finder Mount, which is just this. This is the bracket that I put on there. So it'll come in 2 pieces. You have to run a bolt through it and put the Scotty adapter on the bottom. Now, for the bracket, what I did was the 4 screws that came with it, I just ran them down through the mount plate and used my Dremel and cut them off right there, just so that they don't interfere. And when you reach in to unhook this, if you leave them hang, you are going to catch your hand on the sharp points of the screw, and it's not pleasant. I already did it once. All this stuff, I didn't do any kind of unboxings, any of that. It's just, it's everywhere. So it's also pretty self-explanatory to hook these things up. So I got my bracket onto my Scotty mount, my fish finder, locks on. Oh, why'd you flip? Don't do that. Now, the battery I'm using is there's a video for it on my page, on my channel. It's the one that I built. It's the Headway battery box. And I just have lugs coming off. I did this already for the power cable ahead of time. I added the battery terminals, lugs, and heat shrinked everything. And that's gonna sit behind my seat or under my seat. Now, I opted to get the 6-foot power cable. They do make a 10-footer and I think even longer. But for my application on the kayak, I only needed a 6-foot. Goes from the battery box and then plugs right into the back of the kayak, or plugs right into the back of the fish finder. Power it on real quick just to. It's gonna say transducer is not connected. Power this off. So for the actual Scotty Mount setup, I went over the equipment that I bought. The transducer for the Helix, the bolt is actually too large to fit through the mount that comes on the bottom of the transducer, the swing arm. So what I had to do was take a 15/64 drill bit and just drill it out. Now that's a solid plastic extruded part, so it didn't affect the stability or anything of the part. With that size drill bit, it's actually slightly tight of a fit, which I'm okay with. And you actually, well, I have to use an Allen key to get it to go tight. And then this side's a 10 mil bolt. Everything on here was either Allen key or 10 mil bolt for the most part. So once you get that on there, it's gonna look like that. And this is gonna mount on the end of this transducer arm. The one nice thing is it does flip up and stow fairly easy. You can spin it and rotate it back out, drop it down, and then I use these. I buy them by the roll. It's just Velcro strips, and on the back of the transducer I put 2 of these, and that on the back of the plate. And that's the reason I bought this bigger plate, is because I knew I was gonna have a lot of wire to contend with, and I didn't want it just laying in the boat. So I knew if I had the bigger plate that I would have somewhere to stow the wire. The wire hooks on like that, and then transducer, if I can get it the right way, plugs in. Tighten this up just a little bit. And there you go, fish finder's installed. Now, likes and dislikes, I like the fact that I can flip this up and stow it when I'm in like shallow water, because this unit does stick down slightly below the kayak. I don't think it's going to be a problem, just because of how flexible it is. If you would touch off on bottom or something like that, I think it's going to get out of the way. It might scare you the first time it happens, but I think it'll get out of the way. Sorry. And then it drops back down. Get your fish finder. Wires are all nice. I do have another Velcro strip here that is going to hold my battery wire, and then the battery is going to sit back here behind the seat like that. There's a completed mount, and taking it off with this mount is nice. The only thing I'm worried about, I'm not really worried, but you can see, I mean, if you're paddling, you're gonna get some vibration in this, I think, and I'm not sure how much I'm gonna like that. I think once you're cruising, it should kind of just sit, but I think for sure it's definitely gonna vibrate a little bit. And I mean, I have this, I wouldn't go much tighter than that with it, so it's really going to come down to the water. And you do have the ability to bring this out and bring your transducer that way. Like if you are going to be, you know, you're going to be in shallow water and you don't want this to go past the bottom of the boat, this is an option here. Kick it out a little bit, and now it stays above the water, or above the bottom of the boat. My only concern is really going to be the amount of play in this, but I think it'll be all right. And that's the quick and dirty on mounting a fish finder to the Pelican High Drive 130, and then disassembly. That comes off, goes in the truck. That comes off, goes in the truck. And the battery box. Hope y'all enjoyed what you watched today. Appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, the whole deal. Thanks for watching.